Live. We are live officially.
This or what?
Yeah, if you didn't go on Facebook yet, let's do it.
Oh shit. 3, 2, 1.
311 day, baby.
311 day!
Now we roll on 311 day. Well, actually, it's 311 day. Shit.
We're fucking live,
It's 12.
motherfucker.
Which mic am I taking up on here? Let me get that mic. Why is my mic way the fuck over there? Because we did have a bunch of fuckers on here. We had like a 4-man panel. We had the 4-man band on here last week. 4 fucking horsemen. We had Nall Sack, 9-inch Nalls from Gumbo Sports. We had
Gumbo.
Nacho Gonzalez and his crazy ass takes. We had our boy Siriaco Soler.
Soler.
With the French Quarter Fantasy, that soon that's going to be getting that name, right? Part of that Radar Network, man.
French
It's going to go
Quarter
from
Fantasy.
Siriaco Soler FF to French Quarter Fantasy.
French
You can
Quarter
take whatever
Fantasy.
you want out of that, folks.
We got
French
Ted.
Quarter. Ted, my boy.
Dildonic Plague in the house.
Dildonic Plague. He wants to talk about these trades. I know that. It is. We got to do the poncho. It's March 12th. 2019. We're going to talk some of these trades that happened today. There's a couple trades. If anybody knows Poncho, they know what I'm doing right now. But anyway, our boy Pete can't be with us tonight. We'll get Poncho back on board later on in a week. But big news. Saints fans were a little kind of perturbed a little bit. Mark Ingram, exceptional career in my opinion with the Saints. I really like Mark. He was a game away from basically being the all-time leading rusher. Breaking Deuce's old mark. Hate to see him go. Wish the guy the best of luck in Baltimore.
It won't happen now.
We're going to talk a little bit about OBJ. That's some breaking news that happened within the last 2 hours.
Only on Saints and Sinners we're going to lead with
Saints
Ingram.
and Sinners. Well, we're going to lead with Ingram because we are a Gulf Coast podcast. You know what I'm saying? We're not quite a Chalmette only podcast like Poncho likes to say, but we're from the metropolitan New Orleans area.
Metro area.
We will rep that shit. Here's my boy Mark Ingram. I'm a little mad. I gotta vent my frustrations, a little bit.
I thought you would have something to say about that.
I'm a little disappointed here. I mean, I don't hate on Latavius Murray. He's a nice player. 4-year deal. I think it's $14 million for Murray. He's not the pass receiver of Ingram. He doesn't present the big playability in the running game like Ingram. He's a good short yardage rusher, decent blocker, not quite Ingram. I think Ingram's kind of an elite level pass blocker. So you lose a lot. Not to mention the locker room presence. Ingram is one of your leaders in your team. And this is a little upsetting for me because he gets a $9 million deal from the Ravens. You know, the Saints, what was the threshold to me? Was he willing? I mean, we don't know what was said behind closed doors. If they offered him $7 million, I'm a little surprised if he would have turned that down. You know, and I know the Saints have some issues coming at the end of, the next couple of years. You know, Cam Jordan needs an extension. Michael Thomas obviously going to have a new contract at that point. Alvin Kamara will be around the corner. So you got to preserve cap space. But 2 things, maybe a few others that could be done. The first 2 that comes to mind is Drew Brees represents a $33 million cap hit. I love Drew Brees like anybody, but Tom Brady did it. Aaron Rodgers did it. I think it's time, maybe Drew looked in that direction of maybe, hey, if I take $5 or $6 million away, what's that really going to do for me? That's not going to hurt Drew Brees at all. Teron Armstead, great left tackle, one of the most talented linemen in the league, but he's missed a combined 21 games last 3 seasons. Now, I don't know if they went to these guys and offered pay cuts, or maybe Mickey Loomis didn't even go that route. But how is that not a possibility? How was, I just don't know, man. I think you had to keep Mark Ingram. This Kamara-Ingram duo, to me, was as important of any aspect of this team. That's just my opinion. They were equally as important as Drew Brees. Kamara wasn't quite the same the first 4 games. Now, I got all the faith in the world in Kamara, but I don't think he should have. I think 2 more years of Ingram would have been great, in my opinion. I think he still had 2 more years to go. He didn't get a ton of mileage earlier on in his career. Peyton never puts too much on his backs. He doesn't give them the 275 to 300 carries that a lot of teams give their backs. So, I mean, I think Ingram has something left in the tank, in my opinion.
So, did you see the contract details? Because I can't find them on the interwebs.
I think it's a $9 million
1 year?
According to our boy, Chris Knowles. I mean, you can pull up the stats. We kind of going a little impromptu, guys, with all the crazy shit going down. Our stat guy, he's got the fastest stat hands in the world right here.
I'm not seeing
He's trying to find the numbers.
I'm trying to find the numbers.
He didn't find Rajon Rondo making those 4 defensive teams, but I think that was intentional.
Yeah, he did that in his early 20s. He turned into a ball of shit in the last 10 years. So
pretty good for the Pels last year. But anyway,
here's my thing. They were really in a rush to bring him back too.
He kind of fled on us. I think they did want to bring Rondo back, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Rondo,
you should have let him know he's a very flighty guy.
It's LA, man. It's a place people like to go play. I'm not disputing that one bit. But here we go. I mean, Ingram, good get for Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore is kind of strange.
What does he bring to Baltimore?
I think he brings a guy who could rush for 12 or 1,300 yards this year with opportunity in Baltimore. Good offensive line out there. Lamar Jackson's going to need all the help he can get. He's still a learning quarterback in this league. Ingram's a good pass protector, which is going to help Jackson out as well. We had a discussion earlier about the running quarterbacks may not throw to running backs a lot, but Ingram is a very capable receiver, especially in a screen game. I don't see Jackson airing it out all over the field. I see a conservative offense based on the run. Their defense, to me, that's the one thing I don't understand. Weddle, I kind of get he's 34 years old. C.J. Mosley is one of the best middle linebackers in this league. To me, in the prime of his career, I think that was a bonehead move, letting him walk. I didn't understand it. I know they had an elite level defense. They were the best defense.
Well, did you see how much money he got? $80 million.
How many years we're talking? It's a 5-year deal.
Whatever it was like outrageous for a middle linebacker. That's why he was allowed to walk.
I'm big on the middle linebackers, though. I think middle linebackers outside of pass rushers are the most important players on the defense. The edge rusher is important, but a middle linebacker, I still say to this day, Luke Kuechly's not in the Carolina Panthers. They don't make half the postseason trips they make with just Cam Newton.
But is he a Luke Kuechly level guy?
I think he's not quite
Kuechly,
but he's close.
Can he cover like Kuechly?
No, I mean, I think Kuechly's a generational talent. Look at Ray Lewis. 2 Super Bowls for the Ravens. They should know better. C.J. Mosley has been there for a while. They've had success there, Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Let's think about this.
5 years, $85 million.
I don't know, man. I would have thought about it. I'm not going to lie to you.
But does he hamstring the rest of your defense if you got your middle linebacker?
I think there's enough young pieces.
Because you still need pass rushers who make more money. You need.
They got a draft coming up.
Cover guys that can cover people.
I don't know, man.
What have
they done outside of Ingram so far in free agency? The Ravens. What have they? You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is this. I pay him in a linebacker. I think of Singletary in the 85 Bears. I think of Urlacher later on with the Bears. Kuechly with the Panthers. Ray Lewis winning multiple Super Bowls with the Ravens. Mosley winning with the Ravens. To me, I look at Demario Davis. I mean, how much better the Saints defense was with Demario Davis. I don't think Quan Alexander got a huge contract from the 49ers. That's a little more risky given the injury. I think Alexander's a good ball player, but Mosley to me is a little bit of a step above. Plus, he didn't have the injury that Alexander had. But for the Saints, I mean, now Teddy Bridgewater also back in the mix.
Is Teddy Bridgewater the reason why Mark Ingram is no longer a Saint?
We covered that in one of our articles on 504sports.net. We also talked about the possibility of Bridgewater and Ingram, how they could come cross paths in free agency kind of for the Saints. I think the Saints still have some work to do. You have to get defensive tackle. I mean, David Onyemata could be facing a suspension with the marijuana deal. You don't have Sheldon Rankins early on in the year. Tyler Davison's a free agent. He's a guy I think you have to bring back, good run stuffer. Stallworth showed some ability last year, as a young guy.
They lost Sedarius, too. They lost another pass rushing linebacker.
Who's that with the
Ravens?
Ravens lost a lot of good ball players.
They lost John Brown, who
I
thought he would have went to the Browns.
I don't think that's going to hurt him too much.
But somebody else went to the Browns.
But anyway, but here's my thing with the Saints, though. Back to the Hoodats, man. I mean, I think they have to make a move. I know Dylan was on here earlier. We were talking about the Saints, and I think Tyler Davison, man, is a guy that you have to bring back. I think in the draft,
connection not working too good.
Are we getting a little freezing?
Low frozen,
man.
Low frozen.
The shrinkage is on, man. But anyway, I mean, I don't know where you go to Saints. I mean, the draft is one thing, second round. Maybe you go defensive tackle that falls in the second round. But Tyler Davison to me is a must. I think the veterans are starting to kind of, they're starting to wean out a little bit, man. I mean, there's maybe a couple guys out there still, but there's not a ton out there anymore at the defensive tackle position where I think the Saints could use. I think everywhere else on defense, I feel pretty comfortable. I mean, I know some people talk about safety. I think Banjo could play the special teams, and he was on the field a lot last year. He could be the third safety behind Williams and Bell, in my opinion. But the corner thing, P.J. Williams. What do you do with Patrick Robinson and P.J. Williams? I don't think you could keep both with the cap situation the way it is.
What's
Patrick's under contract, but he's coming off a major
injury. What's
injury.
Loomis doing? He's supposed to make some magic happen.
Loomis needs to get his shit together right now, if you ask me. I think he needs to put that GM hat on and start getting creative. The number 2 receiver thing, we talked about that a lot. I think that's totally out the cards. We talked about that a couple weeks ago about a possible release of Cam Meredith, who was really a bust this year. didn't really come off that injury too well.
But his contract's a little.
That's the shady
makes that
part.
impossible.
I think he's a $4.5 million deal this year for him in his second year of that contract. But the dead money would be extreme. I think we would only save roughly $1 million against the cap if we cut him. So they're probably going to wait that out. You have Traquan Smith, you have Kirkwood, you have Ted Ginn Jr., along with Michael Thomas, one of the elite receivers in the league. So maybe that's enough. But tight end, you still need a tight end. Do you go in the draft and get a tight end? That's a possibility, but do you wait to then? I mean, do you think about bringing in Tyler Eifert or Jordan Reed and taking a chance with something like that? Or are you okay with Josh Hill and Dan Arnold and gambling on the draft?
I would co-sign on those guys because if you look, not a lot of tight ends have been signed, not a whole bunch of running backs have been signed.
Right.
Those are the type of guys that'll be frozen out a little bit, and they'll have to come.
Maybe
have to come to Jesus
money.
a little bit and take a little bit less money than they want.
They had to get taken to church.
Yeah, they had to get taken to church because everybody's signing the high profile and the positions that help you win right now.
That's right. I mean, I agree. I mean, you could definitely get value right there at the tight end.
Guys
especially guys who have injury
guys that can
problems.
construct the quarterback. And
I'm a little surprised Jimmy Graham hasn't been cut yet, or LaShawn McCoy. That's a little surprising to me at this point. I mean, the Bills went a little crazy today in free agency, adding Beasley and John Brown, like you talked about earlier. Still, fucking LaShawn McCoy averaged a robust 3.2 yards a carry, was involved in one of the worst off-the-field scenarios in years, and, just didn't perform, and he's over 30 years old. Why are you paying this guy almost $10 million?
Then they
draft a fucking running back.
And they brought in Frank Gore.
Yeah, Frank Gore. I mean, Frank Gore, yeah. Dang. That's what I'm saying. What are you trying to have, the oldest fucking backfield in the NFL?
I'd rather just fucking sign just like some random guy to fucking come in and compete than fucking sign Frank Gore.
They're fucking sponsors.
Frank Gore is like, he'll get you 3.5 yards a carry. You can count on.
There's gonna be retirement homes sponsoring their fucking team, man.
I mean, great. Thanks for that. Thanks for those 3.5 yards. We're really going places.
But I mean, Gore. If you're going to have a young running back brought in, now's the time to release McCoy, you would think. You know what I'm saying? You have a young running back and go get in the draft. Go get a first or second round back. Probably second round, would make more sense for them. I think they need to beef up that offensive line a little bit. They're kind of getting their skill position players attacked outside of running back.
Some of those backs may fall. They may be able to get somebody in the third.
Running backs can fall, absolutely. They're not treated the same way as they were, 10 or 15 years ago in the draft. We've seen it a little bit different of late with Fournette and Barkley going up high, but still a lot of running backs like Nick Chubb fell to the second round last year. You know what I'm saying?
Kerryon Johnson.
Alvin Kamara the year before that falling. You know what I'm saying?
Kerryon
Johnson, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I think.
I mean, Le'Veon Bell was a second round.
Teams have a lot. There's teams going ape shit right now. I mean, a big move to me, one of the before we get into the major one that stole the headlines, one of the biggest moves of the day to me that kind of scares me a little bit as a Saints fan in the NFC. The Vikings had a disappointing season last year. To me, they're still one of the top 5 most talented teams, offense and defense, all around. They go ahead and bring back Anthony Barr, who looked like he was headed to the New York metropolitan area to play for the Jets.
What happened to him should have happened to Ingram.
I was hoping, man.
They should have made those phone calls, and they were like...
That's what I'm saying. Come on, Mickey Loomis. You got to put your effort forth. Somebody's got to...
We need to see these numbers.
I can tell you, Mark Ingram goes there and runs for 1,200 or 1,300 yards, and Murray's kind of vanilla. And
Earl Thomas and the Browns are working on a 3-year deal.
Wow,
they're trying to win the Super Bowl.
And you know what? The thing is, it's great.
They're going for it because they have a quarterback on a rookie deal, which affords them the opportunity to spend money on these other positions while they still have him under that rookie deal.
Not to mention,
and they can go
one of the best pass rushers in the league with a rookie deal in Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying?
When you got the guy, Larry Ogunjobi, they got an interesting line. Like, they can get pressure with just their front four.
In case you missed it, the Browns,
Sheldon Richardson,
the Browns have acquired New Orleanian Odell Beckham Jr. from the New York Giants.
That shit happened.
To reunite with his old college buddy Jarvis Landry, the old Baton Rouge LSU connection is at it again for Baker Mayfield. So this guy all of a sudden has one of the best receiver duos in the league with Beckham and Landry. He's got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt at some point in the backfield, whatever that suspension thing goes down. David Njoku is a tight end. A defense that's really added a ton of talent.
He's a very athletic guy. He's does some boneheaded shit sometimes.
Yeah, he's got a lot of room. But he needs to start growing.
They need to just tell him to just run down the field as fast as he can and then look for the ball.
Yeah, the patience to me with him.
I like the fact that they brought in Todd Monken from from the Bucs, who was a very aggressive down the field type of coach last year that led them to being one of the top offenses in the league. I
mean, Baker's got a good deep ball. I mean, Baker can throw deep. I mean, we know
that's his
Landry,
that's
his
preferred
not really his
game.
I mean, but Callaway's another deep guy too. And you can't forget about Callaway, young receiver. I mean, he showed some deep prowess at times. Saints fans remember
Callaway
last year with that game.
They also kept a guy that did stuff down the stretch. Is like a 6 guy, Brashard Perryman, who can just run down the field really fast and not much else.
I don't know where he stands in their future, man, but
they re-signed him.
He did get re-signed. He looks like that WR4 for them, which might be a good place to be right now. I mean, the Browns look like they're headed to the postseason for the first time in a long time.
And now they're working on Earl Thomas. They trade Jabril Peppers.
I mean, you got Denzel Ward over there in the secondary. You got Kirksey and those linebackers. I mean, Myles Garrett leads the pass rush up front. Offensive line's kind of vanilla, but Baker's got the scrambling ability. I mean, I think he got some. Chubb has shown that he can work with that offensive line last year. He had a good stretch. Beckham and Landry, like I said, one guy's got all the skills, the game-breaking ability. The other guy more of a possession, route-running, physical type, and it's a good complement to one another. And then you got Callaway as a little bit of a field stretcher.
Teams with quarterbacks that they like on rookie deals should all be doing this. They all should be going for it, because when that contract comes up, when they get 100, 200 million bucks, a lot of those guys got to go, and then it becomes a lot harder
the draft
to field
picks,
a team like the Saints.
But the draft
right
picks,
now, it's so hard.
Oh, it's hard to do. I mean,
but
if you draft well, things happen, and that's what's happened. Fortunately for the Saints the last couple of years, and like the Browns, they've drafted well. Look at all the picks. I mean, Mayfield, Chubb, Ward. Myles Garrett. All these picks. All these picks over the last few years that are making a difference. Absolutely.
Ward.
That's it. They're doing it right. In that trade, they sent Jabril Peppers headed to New York in that trade, along with the 17th overall.
Jabril Peppers saved them from having to include another first.
Yeah,
they sent the third round pick.
Peppers, remember out of college,
he was a first. Jabril Peppers got them. Who could be the best receiver in the league if he gets everything straightened out.
I mean, he's got to get his head on right. I mean, Beckham to me has become a little bit of a diva. He's got the Antonio Brown, but with a little, maybe. The numbers are still there. But I mean, the winning hasn't been there for Beckham. Like we wrote in our article, sometimes you need that.
It's impossible to win when your quarterback's Eli Manning.
No, I mean, but I'm saying, you got attitude sometimes. Is a bad reflection. Of the leadership situation. I mean, you've seen it with Antonio Brown. To me, that Steelers team was too good to go 9-7 this year. That was one of the Saints' toughest opponents all season long. To me, that team was too good. That should be an 11-win team at minimum.
When you got shitty help you, man, sometimes you gotta blow on them every once in a while.
No, I mean, but I'm saying, my thing is this: with the Steelers had a solid defense. Fucking phone, huh? But anyway, really, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
That paused the show.
Probably so. Probably lost it. Probably got an issue. That's why we got to get another. We got to throw another fucking cam in here. I think that's the secret.
Yeah, it's like
but yeah, man. But my thing is this, man. I mean. You got the receiver. Beckham to me is. I like what the Browns were doing before Beckham. Beckham to me was kind of like the icing on the cake. You were getting the defense.
Well, everything
better.
Was being set up for that moment.
That's what I'm saying.
That maybe put them over the top.
Yeah, you were making the other.
Everybody
moves,
was looking for the receiver who they have a big hole at number one. Who's going to be the guy that melds with Baker Mayfield and everything he brings to the table.
And the Giants fans, I don't think they're going to be. I mean, there'll be 50-50 if you ask me. I think a lot of them might be happy to see Beckham go. That's a lot of cap space. Peppers is a guy out of college a couple years ago who had a lot of attention coming out. And, hey, look, he could still be a solid football player in this league. They have a little flexibility now. I mean, what I think they should do and what they're going to do, maybe two different things. But with the picks in the draft that they have in the first round of 2 picks, you can go get your quarterback in the future in Haskins, and in a very talented edge rusher draft, you can get a bona fide young edge rusher, which they wanted. They obviously sent Vernon away. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to go in a younger direction as far as pass rushers go. Pierre-Paul walked to Tampa last year.
I think the Giants are going to just stick by Eli. They're going to prop him up for the next 2 years. You know why? Because they're beholden to Eli.
I don't know. I think they're kind of done with it. I think they wanted.
They're so happy for those 2 championships. you know.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I understand that,
but you know, they're
Eli
gonna just keep propping him up.
He's had a good career. Let's be real. He had a good career. I know you're not the biggest fan of Eli, but it's time to really kind of move on from Eli. And I think
it's been time for a couple
Eli
of years
can be
now.
the starter. Eli can be. I think, but I don't think they realize that. I mean, it's easy to go look in hindsight, but at the time when they're still making playoffs. And, you know, I mean, they didn't have a running back. They had some problems all over the field. The offensive line's been a fucking train wreck for years. Solder was a complete bust so far. They're paying him a shit ton of money. I think like $15 million a year, and he's done jack shit from New England.
Well, nobody can
laughing their ass off.
It's hard to protect the guy that you have to protect for like 6 seconds.
It don't matter, man. I mean, there's immobile quarterbacks out there. Phillip Rivers ain't the most mobile guy, but his line does the job. I mean, you can't put that on Eli. I mean, you can't put it all on Eli.
I'll put it on Eli.
I mean, that whole team's fault's not Eli. They have a lot of problems. Their offensive line
is one of the worst in the league. They have a lot of problems.
They had some injuries last year.
It starts at the top.
I mean, it does. I mean, I don't know if, you know, Shermer's the right fit. I mean, I don't know. He's, to me, more of a coordinator than he is a head coach. He just looks a little lost out there at times. I think another bad season and he could be gone no matter what.
He's out there because he's an Eli guy.
Well, I mean, but here's my thing. I think you have to draft Haskins. It just makes too much sense.
What happens when they don't?
Then I don't know what the fuck they do. But they have to get a pass rusher. They have to get a quarterback of the future. I don't think you wait to the second round to find a Jones or a Locke or a Greer. I think you have to go get Haskins. He'll be there most likely, I believe. I'll be surprised if he's gone at that point because there's so many talented defensive linemen. And I think some corner, we always talk about Greedy going early. I think Devin White, to me, is a perfect fit for Tampa in the top 10. I mean, I know it's high for a middle linebacker, but we just had that discussion, you know.
Don Michael said we need a Savoy's hat on the table.
Hey, man, we're going to roll with the sausage, man. We're going to have a full-out, you know, we got to roll with that, man. Some of that boudin, man. Hey, look, this weekend.
We're going to pull out our sausage on live TV?
No, not that, man. No, we're not going that far, man. Not that way, but hey, man, that Savoy's is the truth, man. We got to rep Savoy's, man. We got to, some great boudin, man. That gator sausage, man. Andouille, man.
Oh, man, that shit goes with jambalaya, you know, just on a po' boy.
My wife loves the andouille sausage. In no way is that a sexual reference, but she loves, that's her favorite, man. You know, that goes great with the red beans, like you said, the jambalaya. Even go a little northern style, a little sausage and peppers with some onions, man. You throw it on a sandwich with a little hot mustard, man. Mm-hmm. I've done that numerous times, man. If I'm late, I don't want to cook nothing big, I'll throw me some Savoy's on there and do that. You know, but hell yeah, man. We do need to rep that Savoy's gear. We need to rep that Loyalty Club gear too, man. Where's our boy Jared at?
I don't know. I'm trying to get a poster so we can put it up here.
Jared can rep the
Jared, add Jared. We need a poster here so we can rep the Loyalty Club, have it on the screen at all times.
Oh yeah.
LoyaltyClub.us.
That's what I'm saying. People on Twitter, y'all can order from the Loyalty Club. You know, they'll ship anywhere. The same with Savoy's. I mean, y'all could get down with some Savoy's. Down here, y'all got some of you guys out there on the West Coast that we're cool with out there in the Twitter sphere that follow us and watch, even Northeast, wherever, Midwest, they might not know about that sausage. They know about maybe some Italian sausage, kielbasa, but they don't know about that boudin. They don't know about that andouille, that gator sausage. That shit'll change their life.
That might put a motherfucker in the hospital if they ain't ready. They might not be ready for that shit.
They might not be ready, man, but they got to get on it, man. And you could get that, man. I'm sure, you know, I got to talk to Don on that one, but I think that could go just about anywhere, too.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, you ship it, man. I know it's frozen. You just keep it frozen.
You know, now, man, speaking of shipping food,
they got number 6 overall. You think Haskins going to be there?
I think Haskins could be there. Let's see. We go 1 through 5. We know Murray's going likely 1.
But what about the eventual trade-up?
The 49ers aren't getting a quarterback.
You think?
You know what I'm saying?
I tell you this. They're going to have to trade up if they want Haskins because somebody's going to trade into that spot.
You got the draft order pulled up?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, so let's go run through. I mean, we obviously know the Cardinals, number 1. Talking about, you know, the possibility of Haskins being there for the Giants at 6, which I think is definitely possible. I mean, I don't think any team outside of the Cardinals need a quarterback or would draft a quarterback right there. You know.
Let's see. Here we go. Full draft order.
I mean, let's go. We know Cardinals at 1.
They're going Frisco at 2.
Frisco's not getting a quarterback. You got Garoppolo. They're talking defensive line. That's what
they've been known to take some picks and try to move down.
They could, but I think if they can go get a dime, if you can get a Bosa or Williams where you're at to go with DeForest Buckner and those guys up front, I think Frisco has to keep that and build that epic defensive line. Who we got at 3?
Jets, you know, they got Darnold.
Jets have Darnold, second year. Now, I like Darnold. I like where he showed up.
Oakland, you never know what Oakland's going to do.
There's no fucking telling. I don't think God knows what Oakland's going to do. But I mean, but I don't know. I think the fact though, but here's the thing: Antonio Brown's there. I think he doesn't want to start over the rookie quarterback. If you want to keep him happy, I think Derek Carr's the way to go. Carr's not a bad quarterback. I think he had a little bit of bad luck in a screwed up organization that he was working with last year. So they're not drafting a quarterback. And at 5, we got Tampa Bay. Winston, in the last year of his deal with Arians, I think it works. They're simplifying things for him. Deshaun Jackson's gone. Adam Humphries is gone.
I think it would
He's got Godwin and Evans. O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, there's a lot of weapons. They need to go get a running back, whether in the draft or trade up for agency.
Denver?
I think Devin White, to me, for Tampa, or Greedy Williams. That's an LSU guy. Can help either one, corner or linebacker, could definitely change that entire defense or help change that
defense. We could see Denver trade up into that spot.
You know what, Denver? I don't know. I think Denver's going to be a little passive on QB. I think they're going to go back to, they want to run the football. I think they believe in Flacco enough for a couple of years. I think the defense is not that far away from being where it was. It's not quite that same defense.
You must believe in losing every year.
Well, I mean, you got to give Flacco a shot. He's better than Case Keenum. Let's be real. I mean, Flacco's won a Super Bowl.
He's not that much better.
He's won a championship.
Yeah, fucking.
No, but when he did it, he was a big part of why.
Yeah.
The Vikings got to the NFC Championship game in spite of Case
Just because
Keenum,
a guy did something years ago and hasn't been good ever since.
I mean, but Flacco. The thing about Flacco,
fucking Trent Green has a fucking Super Bowl.
Flacco holds his own. He can throw a deep ball.
Brad Johnson
he can manage a game at times.
Brad
Johnson had a good NFL career. Trent Green had a good NFL career. These aren't bad quarterbacks. Trent Dilfer's the one we always laugh about. He's probably the least out of the group. A Hostetler, a Doug Williams who came in just late in the year. I mean, a Foles. I mean, it happens. But I'm saying, these are, my thing is this. Flacco can, I think he's a guy that can kind of get those receivers. He'll work well with a Cortland Sutton, I think. I mean,
yeah, and the problem is
you don't want to go.
And the problem is they aren't committed to lock, and he will be there where they pick at. So I think that's the
Elway has come out very openly about.
So I mean, they're not all the way in on.
That's what I'm saying. 2nd round pick. No, I'm not saying they're in on Flacco, but Flacco is the starter this year. Locke's probably the guy next year. Following year. No, I don't think Locke goes that high. I don't think he goes that high. I think they wait on Locke. I think they go get the best available player. They have some needs around that team. I mean, that defense is good, but it's not great like it was. Offensive line needs help.
I'll tell you who needs to trade into that spot.
The 10th spot?
No, ahead of the Giants. Even though I don't think the Giants are going to take Haskins. Washington, they're desperate.
Washington is pretty desperate at quarterback. You come in with Case Keenum and Colt McCoy. I mean, you got Darius Geis. Going to be interested in watching him run the football. There's not a lot at all at receiver. I mean, Paul Richardson's arguably your best receiver. That's a lot of trouble. Washington, solid defense. I can't see them going defensive side of the ball. I think they have to go dynamic offensive player in the draft this year. But, man, I don't know. But let's think about this, too. Now, do you think about this if you're a team? Do you roll with one of these veterans this year? A lot of teams either think, I've heard this a lot on sports shows lately, and we've said it before in our podcast. A lot of teams either have their quarterback situation figured out or think they have their quarterback situation figured out. And don't forget about another guy that's sitting out there, Josh Rosen. A lot of Saints fans have been talking to me this week about that too. Do you consider giving up that's the thing too? Do you give up the 2nd round pick if you're the Saints for Josh Rosen? That's been a topic with Saints fans.
I would, but now you have 4 quarterbacks.
Well, no, you can't now. No, you can't now with Bridgewater. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You can't now. Yeah, now, if Bridgewater didn't sign, that was a possibility. There's no way I don't think you can do it now. But Josh Rosen, Washington Redskins, a guy that was picked high in the 1st round last season. If you're the Redskins, you throw a 2nd round pick. That's great value for a guy that's got a year under his belt in the league. Yeah. You pair him with Darius Geis. You go get best available player in the 1st round. This is a rich receiver draft. In the 3rd round, you might get a guy that's a top 40 player in another draft. In the 3rd round of receiver here, you can go get one of these receivers that falls. I mean, it could happen. I know you like guys like Butler, Samuel, those different players, Isabella. Maybe those guys fall to the 3rd round. It's possible. I mean,
I think there will be a lot of receivers fall because they're just so rich that, with a guy that would have been a 2nd round years past might go in the 3rd or 4th round.
I mean, I think Harmon, Harry,
people already have a guy picked already.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's 4 that go in the top 40 for sure. Top 50.
You might have some of these receivers coming in later and then pushing guys once they get into camp.
Good point. The draft. And then we're going to start be able to shape up. We're going to start doing mock drafts, I would say, next week.
We froze up.
We frozen. Shit. Ted.
You sure it's not just on your end? Or what?
You need to play the role of Anna, dude, or Elsa, whatever one, and fucking unfreeze us, my man. Come on, Ted. We need your technical assistance.
Let it go.
So there's a fucking second one of those movies out. And my daughter, she's so fucking over it. She ate the shit out of that, dude. She loved her some fucking Frozen. When we went to Disney for the first time with them years ago, I think that was 14, she went ape shit. Frozen was everything. They could have had they could have had anything else going on at that theme park. She wouldn't have gave a shit. Frozen was all, and now there's a sequel. You know Disney's about to get rich. I tell you, if you buy stocks, Disney stock is about to fucking roll with Frozen. That shit was the biggest selling movie I think they had in their history.
If you just had 2% of Frozen.
Fucking Frozen,
you'd be a billionaire.
I'm surprised, and I'm just gonna say this, man. I know it's a little bit of a weird transition, but man, do you ever think? I don't know if maybe we should get into that right now, but the Frozen thing, all right? There's some, I don't know. I'm gonna save that for another time. Let's wait. We have to save that for Poncho. This is perfect for Poncho because this will be right up there with the Dancing Bear. And by the way, if anybody knows, we're gonna ask this every episode.
Hey, do y'all know anything about the Dancing Bear?
Twitter, YouTube, folks, Facebook. Does anybody know what a fucking Dancing Bear is?
I know what it is.
We know what it is now, but we don't.
It's a gay snuff film that Poncho was watching in his early 20s.
Look, they claim this thing. I don't know where Poncho is tonight if he's on here anywhere, but maybe he's watching a Dancing Bear in action right now. But I've never heard the terminology. Apparently, it's something to do with a bachelorette party and a male stripper, and y'all could kind of figure out the rest. But
no. When you're watching an adult film and the ladies got their clothes on and you're staring at the man's penis.
Well, I mean that's not the films I look at. I mean, no offense to the people that do. I mean that's their choice. But I mean,
I know in porno, a wang will get involved at some point, but not in the fucking beginning.
You gotta deal with it at some point. You gotta look. You can't. Every play can't be a 40-yard touchdown of Michael Thomas. You got to have Zach Long running into the line.
When I'm trying to watch a porno, the opening scene can't be just penis.
Yeah, I agree. Poncho, I know what's up with that.
I got bamboozled. What am I looking at?
He's in not even right. To this day on that, man. I mean, I don't know. That was borderline. I mean, put it this way, he's lucky we were friends because I mean, if you don't know that dude too well and you go up in that house and that kind of films on the big screen. You kind of wonder if you're being lured into some Silence of the Lambs shit. You know what I'm saying?
He's more fortunate that we've waited so many years for this to come out.
I'm pushing in the fucking basket.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Yeah. Put the fucking lotion in the basket. No, I'm thinking it's gonna be full out fucking.
I thought one of us was gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't want to end up a lampshade in somebody's house. You know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't want to be part of any films that they were recording. With us in a pit.
I did not, man. Well, you know what's funny? Well, we're done with Mardi Gras, man. For all the people nationally, we don't stop partying. Mardi Gras is kind of like the beginning for us. You kind of chill in January. Mardi Gras kicks the shit out of you in February and early March this year. And guess what? Now we got St. Patrick's weekend. We got the Saturday down there on Magazine Street. We put our event calendar out. There's a lot of shows coming on this week, too. We got our full event calendar. A lot of good brass bands this week. Pelicans play home this week a couple times. Even Pink, one of my daughter's favorites, been one of the biggest musicians the last 20 years. She's here on Sunday. But Sunday also, the Metairie Road Parade, one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch out. You get hit in the eye with a fucking carrot. You know what I'm saying? That's not the carrot that video had, but you know what I'm saying? But you can get popped in the head with a fucking carrot. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good time.
I'm trying to work my magic to get.
You need to get off of work, man. I hope your work people ain't watching because you got to find some shit to get off.
Ted says strippers like back at Dave's batch party low.
Ted, I remember that, you son of a bitch. You ran a 4.3 that day, homie. Fucking, you won the cone drill, my brother.
Man, that motherfucker.
Ted was going early first. I mean, he was fucking top 3 on the board, possibly.
Ted passed up Elijah Holyfield that day.
Damn.
In the draft.
Ted, that was some good shit, man. I'll tell you this: some people almost got in some fucking trouble over that party, man. That night was fun, man.
I ain't never seen somebody run from head that fast.
I'll tell you this, man. All I'm going to say is this. Out of those, man, I hope my wife's not listening, or her family, but out of those 3 strippers, there was one that was pretty solid. The other 2 could have just, I don't know, man.
Total baggers?
I mean, I don't mean to be mean, man, but, you know what I'm saying? I forgot who set that up that day, but, man, we should have got a discount or something, man. Because, I don't know, man, the other 2, man, they could have been on meth. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, they had two alphas there that did this a lot. You know, they had big, deep pockets.
I'll tell you this, man. We were in our 20s at the time, and don't underestimate the power of the way the 40 and 50-year-old dudes party. Because I'll tell you one thing, they stole the thunder from us. We looked like a bunch of bitches there. Them dudes knew how to party. I mean, there was people threatening. I don't even want to get that into it, man. We got to stop right there. We're going to get into it, man. We got to take that time out.
That kind of party, I'm surprised Antonio Brown and his blonde mustache didn't show up to that kind of party.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it. You're going to see him with a Velveteen Dream. No telling, man.
Any other big moves you want to discuss before we ride the fuck out of here?
Man, I think free agency, you know, it's official tomorrow. We still haven't seen Lev Bell hit the board. The Jets seem to be the early favorite there. I know our boy Knowles with Gumbo Sports wants to see the Houston Texans. I think he should be careful what he wishes for with that.
Yeah, you don't want to spend that much money on a running back, and will fuck your franchise.
He might get 15 to 17 million. That's the report.
I don't know. That report is coming from his people. I think
it's all over. There's no. I mean, I think he's going to get it.
I've seen other reports that he's getting offered no more than 11 and 12.
I don't know.
But if Ingram only got 1 year, that's different.
Maybe so, but it's a
multi-year deal is the deal breaker for him.
But
he wants more than 1 year.
He's a little higher
Otherwise,
profile.
he would have took that franchise deal.
He's a little higher profile than Ingram. He's 3 years younger than Ingram. I think he can get, if Ingram got 9, I think he can get realistically 12 to 14.
But Ingram's a guy that's fit in the locker room a lot better.
Absolutely. Ingram's a great leader in the locker room.
Lev Bell brings his own set of
12 to 14 million is my prediction.
Might not want to deal with for that kind of cash.
But other players too. Golden Tate's out there. Tevin Coleman. There's a lot of good players still in the market. I don't know what the Saints are going to have to say with this. I think the Saints need to look at maybe considering tight end or defensive tackle. They got to do something with P.J. Williams and Tyler Davison. I think retain those two guys for sure. Will Lutz, I think he'll be back. You know, it's funny, we don't talk about kickers enough, but that guy was money the last couple of years. And, you know, if you have a bad kicker, sometimes it shows up. You got to at least have a decent one.
Hey, back in the day with Tampon Bay, watching that second rounder kick.
Yeah, you don't want to go all Aguayo, but you definitely have to have a decent kicker, man. But I guess we're going to roll off. We're going to have Pancho back for the next show.
Fuck out of here.
We're going to get a little deeper into free agency talk. Some more moves should happen by that point in time. We're going to get back into the NBA a little bit as well. We kind of too much football today.
DZ, I forgot.
DZ!
Hey.
C needs to make that dinner. Tell his ass to get home and fucking and start cooking that shit up.
One more time, loyaltyclub.us. Check out our sponsors. They got the flyest, the freshest, the baddest ass clothes. It's not just clothes, it's a lifestyle. Go check them out.
Right on. And we do need to get that Savoy's hat, man.
And we are out.
We're out.
March 12th, 2019.
Even did that Saturday night, that son of a bitch.